Hello friends, welcome to this new video on machine learning. In this video, I am going to show you some tricks and techniques which you can apply to your regression models whenever you are building one. So what we are actually going to do in this tutorial is that we will be using some techniques like backward selection for removing insignificant variables from our data set which are not contributing to the model. Along with that, we will also focus on some metrics like AIC, VIF, that is variance inflation factor, and also AIC, that is Align Information Criteria, as well as we will be looking at the probability of the individual predictors. Let's see the example and everything will be clear to you. The dataset that we are going to use for this video is this house sales in Kings County, USA, which is available on Kaggle, and I will leave the link to this dataset in my notebook itself. So this is the Kaggle link from where you can download the dataset. Yes, then we will be importing some dependencies like NumPy, Pandas, Stats model. We are using Stats model because Stats model actually gives us a complete summary kind of interface whenever you are building some regression model. It is definitely a very useful API, so I prefer using Stats model a lot. So let's import. Besides that, we are just ignoring these warnings, so let's ignore this warnings. So let's import them. So also the dataset needs to be uploaded to your Colab drive. So you can just mount your drive using this simple drive mount option. So my drive is already mounted. After that, I have captured the dataset with the help of Pandas read CSV method from my drive. And let's see the first 5 rows using the head method. So this is the dataset which has features like ID, date, price, bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet living, floors, waterfront views, condition, grade, and many more. And what we are going to predict in this tutorial is the price of the house. So this is the column, our target variable. So let's check for the shape. So it has around 21,613 rows and 21 columns. So let's also check for some more information about the dataset. So this is the datasets column, and these are the data types of all the columns. Using the info method on the pandas data frame, you will get this result. So next is we will be checking for the null values in our dataset, whether our dataset has a null values or not. If our dataset has null value, we will be needing to do some treatment on that null value. So we will check it out whether it has null values or not. So here you can see using the house price dot is null dot sum, we are getting that there are no null values in any of the columns in our dataset. So that's a good thing for us. Now we will be separating the categorical columns and the numerical columns which are in this house price dataset using the house price dot select d types. So this is a method which can work on the pandas data frame directly, and we will be including two kind of objects here. For categorical columns, it will be object and category, and that will be converted to list, and it will be stored in this cat columns list itself, and we'll be printing it. And the same way we are going to do the same thing for the numerical columns. Here we are going to select the integer 64 and float 64 for numerical columns, and let's see how many of them are categorical and how many of them are numerical. So here we are getting that the date itself is only categorical column in this data set, whereas other variables or other columns are numerical by nature. So let's see the value counts in date, whether we have a certain category of date or whether this date is of a random type. So here you can see that there are too many dates in this data set. So it's better that we keep this date out of our model first of all. Okay. So next is we'll be checking for the correlation with the target variable in the house price. So here we are using the Pearson method. You can even go for the Spearman correlation coefficient method. So on the house price, just by using this core method on this data frame, we'll be getting the correlation matrix. So here you can get the correlation matrix, and all the individual columns can be directly compared with this price and how much correlated they are. So this is a very important part of any ML experiment. So more the correlation is, better will be that variable contributing to the model. But it looks like it's a very big matrix, so it won't be very easy for you guys to see which variable is actually contributing to the price or not. So for that, what I have done here is that on the correlation matrix variable, on the price segment, we are sorting the values and assigning equal to false. So when you run this line of code, you will get that the square foot living is around 70% correlated to the price, and all these values will be in a descending order. So all these variables on the top are highly correlated to the price, and this variables at the end are not very much correlated to the price, and adding them to the model is not going to add much value to the model. This is the thing that I wanted to show you in this video. Particularly, we are going to do, what we are going to do is that we will be selecting all these variables first. So this is a technique called as backward selection. So firstly we'll be including all these columns, and then one by one, using the some criterias, we will be eliminating them. So let's check out that. So let's run this SNS plot if you want for some additional exploratory data analysis also. So this is the visualization of the correlation that we have for all the predictors. It's very difficult actually to see this. So better that you go for individual visualization. I will suggest that if you want some graphical ADA to be done that on this data set, so better go for one-on-one and not go for this such kind of plot, because it will be very difficult for you to that variables are actually correlated with the price or not. Then these are the columns in the data set, and in the backward selection, first we will be selecting all these columns. So all the columns are written in this list itself. Only the date column is removed, but just by looking at the date itself, we can say that it is not going to add any value to your model. So let's run this column, and now we'll be separating the X and Y. So the target variable from the house price was the price itself, so they are separated. Now from the sklearn scikit-learn model selection, we will be importing the train test split, and we will be splitting this into 4 parts, that is xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest. Using the train test split function, we will be passing both this pdx and pdy, and the train size, that is the training data, we want in this case to be 70%, and the random state is 42, as we want reproducible results. That is, every time you run this code you need to get same kind of results, therefore the random state is equal to 42. So let's run it. So now we have 4 variables. Now what we'll be doing is that we'll be adding constants to both the x and the y test, because it is the beta 0 term in the multiple linear regression model. So if you are familiar with the regression, what the formula of regression is, y is equal to mx plus c, or y is equal to beta 0 into beta 1 x plus beta 2 x, and so on. So the beta 0 is very essential to be added to your xtrain and xtest for any regression problem. So in the stats model, we get a function called as add constant directly to add constant to your xtrain, and we can directly add constant to your xtest. Next step is just to fit the data. So using the stats module, we are using the ordinary least square methods, and we are fitting the ytrain part and the xtrain part using the fit method directly, and we will be storing the result in this full result variable. And then on the full result variable, we will be calling the summary function to get the summary statistics of our regression model, which includes all the columns. So let's run it. So directly you get a result kind of thing here, which is the most important part of this tutorial. So just by looking at this result, you can say how good your model is. So there are some important metrics that you need to take care about. First is the R square. So R square for any good model should be at least 0.7 to 0.8, and in some cases it is even higher. So if your model has an R square of lesser than 0.7 or 0.8, so it is not very good model. And other is the adjusted R square. So you should always check for this matrix also. Besides that, you also need to check for the AIC, So the AIC should be as low as possible for any regression problem. The next is the probability of all the columns, and that should be lesser than 0.05%. If it is not less than 0.05, so they are like insignificant to our model. So here in this case you can find these two variables, that is the SQFT LOT and the floor, actually insignificant to our model because the probability of that variable is greater than 0.05. so better that we remove this in the backward selection process itself. So this process itself is called as backward selection, where you go and check for the probability and then one by one you remove the insignificant variables. So after this probability check, we go for the variance inflation factor. So this is the code for getting the variance inflation factor. So what you need to do is that just open a for loop for all the column names, and on that column names what we do is that we get the list. First of all, we pop the list one by one, and then what we do is that using the statsmodel.ols on the X train as well as the new X train, again we fit the model on the result. And if you are aware about the VIF, that is variance inflation factor, the formula for variance inflation factor is 1 upon 1 minus r square. So here we are getting the result for the individual column in the data set, and then we are calculating the VIF for the same, and we print it for each and every predictor in our data set. So let's run it. So here we get the variance inflation factor of all the columns in this data set. As a thumb rule, it is said that those columns which has a variance inflation factor greater than 5 should be removed from your dataset in backward selection process. Variable insignificance is a greater problem than variance inflation factor. So firstly, you need to remove all the variables which has a probability greater than 0.05, and then you need to check for the variance inflation factor. But if you see this all the variance inflation factor, so here you can see that the variance inflation factor of each and every variable is lesser than 5. So this is not a very big problem for our model. So we will be just removing the insignificant columns. So firstly, let's check the result of our model on the testing data set. So we will be creating the testing data set, and then we'll be checking the R square on the testing data set. So here you can see that the R square on the testing data set we are obtaining is around 69%. And in the next step in the backward selection, what we'll do is that we'll be removing the insignificant variables. So here we have two insignificant variables. First is the floors, which has a higher insignificant value of 0.2, and the second is this square foot lot that has an insignificant value of 0.1. So first we'll be removing the floors. So in the columns part, we will be searching for the floor. So here is the floor, and we'll be removing this variable. We'll be rerunning everything again, and we'll be seeing if we get some better accuracy or not. So here the previous results were as this much. So you can see that there was a slight improvement in the adjusted R square. So let's see all the variance inflation factor again. So still all the variance inflation factor are lesser than 5, so we can go ahead. So on the test data set, we are getting a slight approval of result. So we will be also removing the other insignificant variable now, which is this square FT LOT. So here is this variable square FT LOT. So we will be removing it, and we will be calculating the price based on the remaining predictors. So still there is no improvement in the model, but still the R square on the training data set is around 70% and the adjusted R square is 69%. But if you see all the probability for this predictor variables, you will find that there is no insignificant variables remaining in the model. Now we go for the variance inflation factor. all the variance inflation factor are below 5. Final, we get the R square on the test data set as 69%. So this is the procedure that you need to follow whenever you are going for any regression model. So this is called as backward selection. Another technique is also used, but mostly people use this backward selection. You can also go for forward selection. In that case, what you need to do is that in the columns we will be adding this predictor variables one by one, and we will be seeing the improvement in the R square and adjusted R square, and also we'll be checking this predictor probability and the VIF. And in the final model, you should note that the R square is at least greater than 0.7. There are no insignificant variables in our model, and the variance inflation factor is at least below 5. In certain industries, there are cases like variance inflation factor is kept very low. Even 2 is the cutoff for the variance inflation factor, but in our case 5 is adequate. And this is how you will be building the regression model. So I hope that I have shed enough light on this tutorial that I wanted to show you regarding the AIC, variance inflation factor, and the R square, and how important this matrix actually are to the model. And I hope that you have understood each and everything that I have shown in this video. I will be leaving this notebook as a GitHub repo below, so do check it out. And also let me know if any other improvements or any other method you know regarding the selection process of variables in your regression models. So see you next time, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.